Thank you, Danny.
I think these bans are interesting. So Lulu is the second most played from CLG. Poome has 3 games on it. LeBlanc famously is up right now with TF and Corki both gone. LeBlanc has been played on the side of Palafox is valuable. You mentioned the Zhao, the Jinx, which you mentioned even earlier on. Like, there are 3 really high tier picks for both these teams, and CLG still so heavily want a good laning phase. They're going to grab the first Caitlyn game of either of these players. Now, to be fair, Caitlyn is banned so often that maybe neither team had a chance. I didn't look that up just yet, but she is the most highly priced bot laner in the game in pro play.
It does warp how you need to play as an entire team, though, because now you have to push so hard on bottom side.
Yep.
If you pick Caitlyn and you do not get a CS lead and you do not get turret plates, then you are in a losing scenario.
Yes!
Okay.
And I love this on red. Slicing it in 5. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, you're getting excited, I think, because you're thinking it will be a Smite Janna top. Janna is also one of the very best Enchanter supports right now, one of the highest win rates overall of champions in the entire game. So could be a support. I do like, you know, as you're alluding to, picking it on red because you have the flexibility to switch it later in draft. They get it early, but it is very much a flex pick. If you have not been following solo queue, you can take Janna with Smite top lane, roam extremely heavily. You only have to absorb like level 3 before playing off the bottom side of the map, stacking dragons, getting your carry fed, getting your jungler fed. We'll wait for that though. I really hope it happens, but here's the answer here. CLG, as we said, you have to push with Caitlyn. You have to get turret blitz. You have to get CS lead. Caitlyn Lux, that's the combo. Trap, binding into trap can provide so much threat as well as the pushing power.
As we are looking into the bans right now, we expect to see completely matched lanes here. Caitlyn Lux bot lane versus Janna and Jhin. Trundle versus Zhao. We indeed, as you mentioned, got the 4th Zhao game now for JoseDeodo. I want to ask you something because I haven't done the same interviews that you have with these top-level Janna top players. My belief is that hard 1v1 champions are the correct answer into Janna because you want the like isolated side lane pressure, like getting ahead on Fiora, for example, and just like, well, I'm 2 Fiora, no one can handle my lane pressure. Is that accurate or not?
Well, I think that we should wait for that full discussion until it's actually a Janna top.
That's fair.
But the short answer is that something like a Fiora, a split pusher, gets dealt with by the strategy of stacking dragons super early on and forcing the 5-on-5s, and then it becomes a timing game. But let's wait until that actually happens.
All right.
You know, a lot of build up here. Oh, yes! Okay.
The reason I bring it up is because it can, like, okay,
yes!
it's Janna top. We know it's Janna top. The reason I bring it up is I wanted to know if, like, CLG, do they pick for the, you know, they don't know the comp, or do they pick knowing it's Janna top? And like now, Jenkins gets to counterpick into the strategy, right?
I think Akshan is literally the best champion into it because you can push and take the tower very early and have incredible roaming threat. So that even though it's just hovered over there, it is perfect timing because that is one of the best answers. Now,
it's locked.
there are other, no, it's not. There are other strategies you can go for. You can either do an enchanter yourself and also roam, or you can do the split pushing style. Now, what's most important though is you do not pick something that will be slow at taking the tower because it comes down to a timing curved game. Graves, very quick at taking that tower. You can immediately shove these minion waves, get that gold very quickly, and then right the ship for the rest of your team. The Janna's goal is to get your jungler or one of your 2 either mid lane or bottom lane carry super fed. The ideal scenario also revolves around level 1 getting information because that allows Janna to do her job even more effectively. The level 1 annoyance of 2 champions taking Smite, Zhao and Janna in this case. We'll wait until we get into the game because there are other, you know, iterations where the Janna doesn't take Smite, but that's the most common one. Can be used to fully take over the jungle, starve out your opponent jungler. So while you give up a free lane on the top side of the map to, in this case, the Graves, you would also starve out another member of the opponent team and funnel your pressure and your resources into your carries on the bottom side of the map and stack those dragons so that you have a win con earlier in the game.
Okay. Win conditions stack up the bottom side of your map. Worth noting, FlyQuest showed their hand, locked the Leona on 4, and said, yes, it's Janna top. You know your ISO lane, grabbed your matchup. Because
before League of Legends even existed, tri-lanes were a thing. They have multiple starved supports that play very low econ and try and play off the pressure. This is similar in ideology to previous iterations of funnel where you funnel lanes of gold and experience of minions into a champion, but this is the case where you're funneling pressure. And you're funneling an actual champion from your top side, you're removing that pressure you have there, bringing it down. If you're on the receiving end, and especially if your team is not up to date on the strategy, you just get completely taken out of the game. So we're going to see CLG's reaction to it, because they are most certainly up to date on the strategy. I know for a fact Palafox has spammed mid lane supports with Smite in solo queue. And so CLG, we'll see how they deal with it, because one of the biggest difficulties is then not coordinating your own top laner and your jungle to defend against this strategy. You know, it really does thrive in chaos and kind of preys on your opponents not being ready and not knowing how to react to it as well. I will say though, it all comes together with the incredible scaling of low economy top laners with the current state of enchanters and support items. This is indeed not a drill. This has become extremely popular and prolific through all levels of solo queue, mostly at the higher ends though.
Yeah, it's more successful
with a lot of streamers and a lot of challengers adopting and picking it up. And so they've opted for the sweeper to clear out here, make sure that Jose can do a red buff down to bottom side, and Kumo indeed has taken the smite this time around. So he's going to head top side to absorb level 3 first. What you want is just access to all your basic abilities before you start roaming. Then he will give up on top lane and start roaming down to the bottom side to gank through mid and bottom. Jhin Leona's very good setup there to try and threaten. And make use of it that way. But for the first 3 levels, you want to at least gain all of your basic abilities, so your roams will actually have some impact.
Absolutely. You want to shield someone. You want the 8% move speed with W, and obviously the Q is really valuable. It's the only way you apply Glacial. Want to point out, as far as some breakpoints are concerned, level 3 is gained for the Janna upon the 3 melee minions of the 3rd wave. You can Q to get about half the CS during the rough laning phase. The timing works out that you can use your smite either to grab yourself the cannon, or if no one contests, it's the same time as top scuttle, actually. Potentially, you can take top scuttle, Q off the shield, auto 4 times, then smite to secure it, and that's not bad as you roam down towards mid. Smite's going to be your second smite. It's up for either one of those plays.
Now, we're going to have a lot of time to talk about this strategy.
Yeah.
So there's no rush here. Another topic around, well, we might have some action. So there could be some rush, but bottom lane focus is the name of the game. Even if they just get summoner spells without dying, this is a pretty big win.
That is a lot. That is really well played. Poome far enough back after the flash that he lands the binding into the trap, into a lot of damage. Contractz here, pillars to spot out. Oh, JoseDeodo does not get slowed down by that one. Goes into the trade on Trundle. Janna's still top lane right now, taking a recall, and Contractz is just gonna drop first blood in the bot lane 3v3.
Ideal start for this strategy, Phreak. Bottom lane is where you want your advantage, and you've just gotten first blood on your Jhin. After the bottom lane was able to ward off the engage, did blow summoner spells, Jose is so happy to go in on that. And that's why in Champs like when we were talking about, you're banning away Jarvan and you're banning away Lee Sin, but Jose, literally most played champion is Zhao, can do early ganks very effectively, so no hesitation there. He turns his sights on Contractz, they get the kill, they get the flashes as well. Now, you've got the problem, here comes Janna. She's gotten her level 3 absorb from top side, and it's gonna be bottom pain!
A flash for the Janna, that's gonna be a kill, a snipe from downtown. Johnsun claims his second, thanks to the red, thanks to the blue, thanks for 700 gold. Krugs belong to FlyQuest, the map belongs to them too.
Okay, you always got to keep your eyes forward with this strategy. Next step, you never want to waste a second. Dragon is coming up very quickly. You just killed off Contractz again, and you know his entire bottom side is already gone. So you ward up in preparation for this dragon. Start your dragon stacking very quickly. As soon as that thing arrives, 5 minutes, Kumo here, hovering around, places the deep control ward, just tries to allow wave control for toucouille here. Waves, extra pressure comes through, and they should be able to set up full control down there. The other side, your top side, is just giving up. Yes, Jenkins is going to push away here on these minions. He's going to push away on the top side. He's going to try and get this tower down as quick as possible so he can actually bring some power back to CLG.
Want to shout out the fact that he went for the cold start, knows he has no need for sustain, no need for really mana regen. It's just clear the waves, get perfect CS. 45 is near perfect. I don't know exactly what you're allowed to have at this point in time, but it's going to be really close to the count. Obviously, he has more than anyone else in the game. He's unopposed, and despite the fortification, has knocked down the first turret plate.
Okay, as I said, right on time. 5 minutes, start up this dragon. FlyQuest burn this one down. bring me back, actually, to original FlyQuest with the Ocean Drake here.
Oh, yeah.
So always keeping in mind the save the trees from the original FlyQuest. Kumo, though, he's trying to ensure that this jungle area stays in their control. No problem for him. Again, one of the reasons why Janna is the premier pick in this case is that extra move speed that you mentioned off the passive. Her roaming is so much quicker, and you still get to be incredibly efficient here with your support items, and the champion is based around being efficient on low economy. So while the Graves will get fed, this can also contribute to things, like if you made, false plays on bottom side and you started failing, you started giving up kills, you started getting behind, it would further contribute to objective bounties that could be used to slingshot you back into the game. But the ideal scenario for this strategy is actually to snowball off bottom side and not even to be behind, not to have objective bounties even pop up in the first place. Full control here remains. Kumo still hovering around. Another blast cone, another attack on bot.
Decent damage, though, back onto Johnsun. They're going to try right now. Here we go. Good sidestep by Contractz getting away from the W, but it's a 5 versus 3. The squad is coming down. You may lose some tower damage, but you are going to kill this Lux, as it's going to be a lot of damage out of toucouille. Gets the kill on the board, 3-0. FlyQuest still playing on the bottom side.
Yes, sir. And Jenkins teleports is already burned. He's trying to work on top side, so this teleport is Palafox coming to save the day. Viktor wave cleared will do the trick. That is both of the teleports of CLG expended. FlyQuest don't have any of their own to expend in the first place.
Yep.
But we're coming up on that tower bonus.
And it's worth tracking. The gold difference is 100. You have slapped bot lane. You have gotten a lot of gold in your AD carry, but that same amount, Graves has more gold than the 2-kill Jhin, for example, right? Being unopposed, getting forward turret plates, that is always the counterbalance. It is a strong strategy. I'm not trying to make a judgment, just saying keep in mind, this game is still close together.
And part of it, to the advantage of the team with the 2 supports, plays into the gold advantage not being the main issue and them being efficient on lower values of gold when you come to these team fights. So we shall see how well Kumo pilots the Janna as well. She got significant buffs, which is why she is a premier support chosen for this strategy. As you can see, the Glacial Augment is just the most popular support keystone overall. It is incredibly good since the preseason changes to it, but the speed on the Tornado is the best feeling part of this Janna. The Janna changes. You no longer have to play these reaction games where it really comes down to some big differences in skill. It's just so quick now that it affords you instant reaction to so many plays. So roaming up here to another of the neutral objectives, all 5 members, FlyQuest should be able to keep on pace, pick up the Rift Trail. This will allow you to keep that pushing power going forward. And since they've invested so heavily in the rest of their team comp in range and pick power, because this team obviously came in with the plan of running this from the entire time. Once you get the Rift Tail and utilize that to take down mid-turret, you get the Zoe plus the Jhin insanely long-range pick opportunities, plus the Leona trying to roam around. So it really becomes a very dangerous scenario for CLG, even trying to control even their own side of the map.
All right, FlyQuest still on the aggression. They're, as you mentioned, tri-laning down to the top side. They are leaving bot lane alone as Luger and Poome are going to farm gold on their support item. They're going to farm turret plates. Jenkins, alone to 1v3, has ulti. Could honestly knock down most of the wave. Might save it for the cannon. Has Contractz coming away as well. Will not be clearing much of the wave. W gets a little bit there, but turret isn't taking damage. Caitlyn, Lux are farming bot lane turret right now. They are earning gold back. Question is, does the tower dive do anything? Forward to the top lane right now. No TP up for the mid. They are walking in for this one, going for the damage, and they're gonna just knock down Contractz. He walks in full vision and just gets deleted.
And they're not done, Phreak. They've got Rift Herald in hand. Still hovering up on this top side. Oh, you see Palafox coming up through lane to try and help out with this wave clear. Meanwhile, toucouille actually went back mid. So he thinks they've got it covered without the Zoe presence, and it gets dicey.
Health bar is low, and that's going to be the rest of the burn. JoseDeodo, thank you for the red buff and the red smite. Gets the rest of the damage down, and suddenly top lane turret is under fire. Gold lead remains about 800 as another 4 plates have been taken out of FlyQuest's bot lane, but the kills keep stacking up.
So well done from FlyQuest. They even get the greedy play of the extra wave picked up by toucouille in mid lane, in addition to the dive being successful. Even with Palafox coming through, can't make his way up to the turret. Really well done here from FlyQuest. And the attention to detail, since you're on these constant timers, you cannot afford to overstay a play. So they pull it off quickly and recall in time to keep up the dragon timer. Remember, this is one of the biggest cooldowns for this team is the respawns of these dragons. So dragon is back up here. Number 2 is ready. All of FlyQuest recall for their well-timed respawns. They've all got control wards in inventory, heading right back out to this objective. I think this is the best coordination that we have seen for this team in 2 years.
Yeah.
Even all the way back to the other roster, Phreak.
Yeah, it's looked pretty solid here for the squad as they are going to be grabbing the second dragon, no problem. 10 minutes 55 on the board. There we go. Solo turret gold, first turret of the game. Jenkins just earned about 600 individually off that play and another bit to his team. So gold back to Tide. Look for the play on a Jenkins, gets away from all of it. Able to flash away to safety. Mid lane going to be safe. 2 dragons, 0 gold equal.
And this is where I use this type of game as an example as far as the answer to some of the people trying to come up with the counters to this strat. You know, and you're like, oh yeah, well you just got to split push super hard and then you'll have a fed top laner, right? But the problem is, because the other team has controlled the bottom half of the map, that's where the dragons are stacking, they get to team fight with the control of a Janna. And when you're trying to teamfight as a Graves into Janna, well, never mind.
We got a play on a Palafox, half HP, flashless, as JoseDeodo drops the aggro, the burn comes through, and that is a kill picked up. Good shield from Janna.
Okay.
Chasing down to Kumo, will be deleted. That is a very, very squishy level 5 support, and CLG with the first gold lead of the game.
That is big. Get the kill on the Janna. Kumo even uses his ultimate, picks up the actual credit there. He's further accelerated. So to try and build up the comeback mechanic or try and build up the team opposing this very frustrating strat in that Graves, he has popped Cole, he has got the entire top side, he even got that kill onto the Janna. So this is going to be, fed Graves, putting his money now into Merc Treads and further damage. We'll see what Kumo can actually do with this because, as I said before, CLG have been very well aware of this strategy. Palafox has been using it as mid in solo queue very frequently. Now he's asleep, though.
Could almost be an outright kill, but as Contractz shows up, they're going to force this to charge and share gold among the team, but that is a deletion. 0 and 4. Contractz just getting torn up here. Still legally binding as FlyQuest get their gold lead back.
It is going to be a full rotation too, so that means Jhin on bottom side, Johnsun, does get the wave all the way up to the turret, takes down some of those plates. Aphromoo giving his life up for another consecutive kill on this Trundle, who starts to actually lose value, and they lose some pressure there, allowing Palafox to continue to try and wave clear here, barely keeping this turret standing. That is a critical one for them, though, as their defenses are crumbling around the map.
And so Graves pushing in the top lane. At some point, it's going to answer or lose the top lane tier 2, but first there's a play onto the bottom side. Luger clears away the wave, and there isn't yet a dive because the wave is still 10 seconds out. How much can they fight for? The wave is coming to reinforce as lock back to the control warded brush. A couple of shots come through from Luger, and FlyQuest have to call off the dive. Meanwhile, top lane tower is dying to Graves.
Yep, you have to commit hard to the split push.
Yep.
Because again, Graves gets outranged. We were interrupted a little bit, but it's hard for him to teamfight into everything that outranges him. Janna and Zoe and Jhin. So FlyQuest want to force these, bottom side things still. Meanwhile, Jenkins does his best on top side, gets another turret, and looks like he's going to be able to get out in time as well. Nice escape.
It seems to me the plan for CLG is you never do 5-on-5. If you try to make the dive and we hold on long enough, something of your base dies. Someone matches Graves, Graves has more gold than anyone else in your team. That match doesn't go very well, and it's down to a 4-on-4.
And they've invested in wave clear. It's incredibly important to invest in wave clear for the later stages of the game. You've got Viktor, Caitlyn, and Lux all going to provide some decent map control. So even if the FlyQuest squad pressures you on the bottom side, your hope is that you avoid their long-range engage and all of the skill shots we were talking about, all the pick that they have, and you're able to wave clear. But hope is not enough. The picks land.
That is a great stun and a great kill set up by Aphromoo and knocked down. Second kill on the board almost. Jenkins forced to flash away, was caught in the crosshairs, and That is FlyQuest once again back with the gold lead, looking to get the third dragon in just 1 minute's time.
Yep, and another one lands, but not quite enough range there on the follow-up, so Luger will live to push another mid-wave himself. Again, keep on emphasizing, too, the range, how important range is as you progress through this game. Herald number 2 will help you keep up that pace of the siege, and the importance of hitting those skill shots on the side of FlyQuest to force those kills and force those picks are going to be their big answer.
It's 8-2 in kills, 2-0 in dragons, and 20 seconds till the third one spawns, but just now have FlyQuest at the recalls. Ward control should belong to CLG, and again, actual inventory size should be close together. This may have to be given up. Bot lane pushed in. Is it the turret kill? Luger's gonna stay for it, I think wisely so. I'm gonna turn back, say no, we have to burn the dragon down. This could be 250 gold lost because the local gold will not be earned. Map pressure will still be gained. Dragon begun. Baron not on the map, and the soul stacking already slowed down as Jenkins with the team.
Really good advantage from CLG moving in off of the recall. FlyQuest laps a bit on their reset. They've got 3 bounties on their bottom side players that have been pushing so heavily. And with CLG cutting off the dragon stacking, they've got a light at the end of the tunnel now, Phreak. A very, very nice way out of this game. Because the actual bounties have started to accrue through the bottom side members that were stacking up all these kills too, if they can actually convert on some of these, they will then be in the hands of a late game Viktor carry. We saw the possibilities of this through so many games through lock-in as well.
So again, cross the map on the top side. Wow, big damage. Not quite a kill. Flash to save there for toucouille, trying to stay alive. Just barely running away. Okay, everyone's going to live. Top tower, died Rift Herald. Second tower going to be attacked by that same Herald as Jenkins cross maps onto the bottom side. Will kill bot tier 2, but top tier 1 and 2 were killed as well. CLG answer to mid, getting mid outer. Herald's going to crash in the top lane. We still have such a quickly advancing map state, or that inhibitor tower is going to remain below 1/3 HP.
Which is why even the second Herald is so important. Herald pushes always have to be answered because you can push so quickly there. Even the super fed Graves only getting the secondary outer tower there, and Herald's getting off the charge onto that top side inhibitor turret of CLG's, leaves it heavily damaged, will only regenerate up to the 33% mark, and will still be easy pickings. Now is the fun time though, Phreak. The dragon stacking has been put off the extra 5 minutes from CLG getting that dragon, and now it will come down to warding to set up these picks. Zoe, Jhin, Janna, Leona, such long range looking for the picks. Aphromoo the one that actually finds himself under attack though.
Ult finds a ton of stats. Aphromoo takes big damage there. Shield comes in a little bit later from the Janna. Counter on the front line. Ult stats end now. Everyone stays alive. Johnsun snipe not going to land for anything. They're all going to disengage. toucouille, nice try. Doesn't quite get anything. Okay. 240 gold plus 1 dragon. That's a scoreboard lead for FlyQuest. Not huge, but a lead all the same. 3 kill Zhao, 2 kill Zoe, 2 kill Jhin. A little bit of damage on a Jenkins. Not going to mean a ton, though. And, of course, now it gets a bit harder for this Graves to find a turret to fight.
I'm so excited for this stage because we're continually looking for more data on these strategies. Usually, the best success for the Janna top sides are when the Janna top is paired with a bottom lane that is like a Jinx Lulu. And you have full confidence in your 505s later with the double enchanters really buffing her up. But FlyQuest's iteration, their take on the strategy, has invested so much more into that pick and into that CC and long range with Jhin, Leona, that it does put some more emphasis on those abilities landing. So toucouille, Johnsun, Aphromoo, see if they can actually leverage some of the deep wards that the team has been able to make and punish CLG's attempts at pushing the sides, because Jenkins has worked away on both side lanes all the way up to both of these turrets. So this is the real breaking point in the game. If they're able to actually crack it, or FlyQuest find their pick, they get the straggler kill first, and CLG aren't able to fight their way out. Contractz.
Slow flash to get away from the root. Good shot by Johnsun. Was going to land, was probably going to force the kill. The summoner on cooldown, the dragon coming up in just 85 seconds. Is if FlyQuest can make that one happen. Of course, there will be a Baron first, but just wards should be enough. Either team can rush it all that quickly. Jhin ult opens up, slows on a Contractz. Tanking if he can tank those shots, gets a bit low. Poome tanks 1. And now mid-tier can be pushed in. Now mid-tier 2 could be the target, but there is some wave clear out of the Viktor, but how much control can FlyQuest take? They walk up and they get some shots in.
Yeah, they've got very good defensive capabilities with Janna ultimate and Jhin ultimate, both creating space for the long-range abilities here. toucouille, even without landing the sleeps, they pressure this through, while Jenkins, keep your eyes on the Graves, is their timing restriction. This is the check and the balance for every push that FlyQuest make. And because they're able to pull off the turret quick enough, they can answer this push with toucouille roaming here, and the rest of the team following.
100%, I feel like there's the sleep, and that should be just in time.
Night-night.
There's the rest of the squad. Be careful, Janna! Kumo, no! That was simply too aggressive. You were guaranteed the kill. That is a very large mistake to donate away 300 gold and a bit of map pressure. FlyQuest ultimately still come away with more out of the play thanks to the assist, but now we can fight over topside wards.
100% agree with literally
simply too much.
Every part of that, because you have to be aware when you're opting into this strategy, you know, how squishy you are later. And this is, again, full damage, super fed Graves. So walks up. Again, your Q is so instant now, and you have so much range. Very good response there, though, from Jenkins. He wakes up from his nightmare Phreak, and all he has to do, full combo.
Start blasting. Ooh, that's a good route, though. That's going to hit Luger. Jumping in is JoseDeodo. Ulti is on as well. Only a slow on a contract, but still flashes the Trundle. That could be enough zoning that it belongs to the FlyQuest. Now, Kumo's ulti still down from the previous fight. He burned trying to live. Did not do so. Contractz cannot easily get into the pit. In fact, Smite's down right now.
Bring it down.
It's going to be tough. Down to 2k health. This could be the easy play. JoseDeodo should have no problem getting the Smite and getting the third drag, but they turn in for the battle instead. Dive to the front line, but the ulti is down. Could be sniped, but no. First Contractz will die. 700 health on the Dragon. Shot, and claim. Third Dragon on the board for FlyQuest, plus the kill in the team fight.
Yeah, that's a huge win. Now it's Soul Fight. They're back on track. What a play off of this timing window. Jenkins is walking back from base, so they still are rewarded for the pick onto Jenkins. Side benefit, you know, Janna's only level 8, so Kumo's back up, and with that extra move speed too, they're out to the objective first off of that pick onto Jenkins. And so even though it wasn't ideal, they still capitalize on it in a perfect way. Whew. All right, here's the setup once again. Yep. So they know that they've still got time. Jenkins is headed over. The ultimate comes through, popping Contractz. Nice use of their CC. Again, they're keeping them at arm's length. They're avoiding the big possibilities of burst damage, because CLG actually do have the good damage if they can land, you know, like a binding coming there from Poome. That would be so much follow-up from a Viktor, from a Caitlyn. But well done there to keep them at arm's length and just CC the front line. Contractz gets locked up there, and getting the kill onto the jungler means they even got to auto down the Dragon. 73 health there in front of the faces of the rest of the members, and there wasn't anything CLG can do about it. Jenkins didn't want to go for the back of the pit, but he wants to get right back into the base.
Yep. Has to keep finding a side lane to walk towards, and it's up to the rest of the squad to, like, give him the necessary ward control and make sure it's going to be safe enough. I'm actually, hold on, we got a Baron play. Talk about wards and such later, because Baron's being attacked, and happily on the other side of the map, Jenkins is just hitting turrets right now. Lux ults for some vision. It is a 4v5 at best, but it will be inhibitor, and maybe Nexus turrets traded. How many backs can they stop? We have seen CLG play around bases before. This one might be a good one for them, though. They've got the Baron at 3k health. JoseDeodo has not engaged or gone for Baron just yet. They've sent toucouille back, and that's going to be a stop. But just like that, CLG stopped the Baron. They got an inhibitor, and nothing was lost.
Huge win. The pressure from downed inhibitor in the perfect side of the map. Jenkins makes up for it. Right back out to pushing. Inhibitor down, and the team actually stops the Baron attempt. CLG now can leverage map movement here. Super minions down bottom side constantly. Palafox, as long as he doesn't get picked there and is able to reset, CLG can then move right back out to the top side of the map without having to worry about controlling minions on bottom side, but Palafox does get hit with the W.
Not sure what he was afraid of. The stun was already going to be down, and that's going to be really... If someone else is there, yeah, it's a death. If you suddenly get Leona ulted, but... okay, burns the flash, stays alive, but no one was there.
They do have foam if the other members are there, and there were several in Fog of War, so that's just the caution there. And as we mentioned, that's one of the big pivot points here. As long as he doesn't get caught there, CLG now force the extra person from FlyQuest to show. Currently, they've got toucouille pushing on bottom side. They don't have anybody with super great wave clear, Phreak, so this is the big difference. You have so much more wave control in the draft here from CLG, and you have no teleports from FlyQuest because you are running the spellbook there from Zoe swapped over to Exhaust, and Kumo still has the Smite, which, by the way, becomes so useless later in the game. Since you don't have Smite item, then it never transforms. It's just a measly little 450 Smite, so it doesn't do jack.
Here we go, though. Rushing down onto the Baron. CLG gonna group up on this squad. toucouille right now, flash exhaust. He actually can't get back to teleport right now in case he even had it under exhaust. There's no one to exhaust, so does have to walk. We're gonna have Kumo already recalling, heading back over there. No play really gained, but guess what? Jenkins back in bottom lane. And by the way, with the dead inhibitor, he can just kill the Nexus. But who answers Graves? He's level 14. I assume has the most gold in the game. So who gets to answer and win the 1v1 against super minions?
They also have the possibilities here of Poome being the hero for CLG. Jenkins can keep on split pushing forever. And if Poome lands one of those long-range binds on FlyQuest, everything will collapse for FlyQuest. All of a sudden, then it's CLG finding their pick, and they've got plenty of damage to follow up here. Palafox has rushed the Lichbane this time around. We saw it on item 4, I believe, in the previous game, but he's getting right in there because he's really trying to carry it from a little bit earlier of a stage. And I have to say, they're still fighting over this vision on Baron fairly effectively for CLG. Have been able to scale him quite nicely, and now it is FlyQuest just dealing with their inhibitor timer that they've suffered.
Wave cleared. Lux E into Caitlyn spells. Usually clears that run really nice. This time around, it's going to be Poome getting a little bit of it. Cannon might have gone to Contractz, but otherwise they just dropped. Whatever. Not a huge deal here. CLG getting going to try for this play. Jhin took his time to clear bot lane, but again, no one answers the Graves well.
Can't face check. There it is, the binding.
Nice ult. JoseDeodo blocks all the damage, jumps in. Goredrinker, big stun comes across, and now they're going to look for this fight in a 5v4. Johnsun not yet in range, though. Actually, Jenkins got there first, and by the way, bot lane still pushing in. Summoner TP, of course, was used. That's how Jenkins got there earlier, and now it's time for the attempt at Cloud Soul. Now, mid-wave went down first. CLG cleared it, but they got to cross that side of the map. What about the bottom side, though? What about the dead inhibitor? How much pressure will that create? As there's still no TP up for anyone on FlyQuest. It's still coming back from cooldown. toucouille has it now, but will he recall to the base? Will they give up Dragon? And it seems like base and positioning, that's the call. 4 minutes ago, when the bottom inhibitor was killed, when Jenkins split pushed that down, that's what allowed the Dragon to come through, and once again, CLG slow that one down. Nexus turret, by the way, down to 20%. The value of the Gray split push still paying forward with the inhibitor down.
And you're seeing the difference, too, in the strategy of going for the Jhin Leona versus, having the very much assured double enchanter style here, not paying off for FlyQuest. Good early attention to positioning for CLG. Phreak, always hammer in. Vision first at the objectives. We do have a bit of a pick, but Luger's cleanse will allow him to get out of the snare and dodge the rest of the bullets, but he's not out of the water
TP flank coming in. Yeah, you can flash this corner. No, you might not. Yes, finally gets away from it, but still being attacked. Just gets away from toucouille. Gets a quick shield. And he's just got to keep dodging the bullet hell. They're still coming for him. I'm sorry, you're underneath the Gromp cues for a heal. Takes a second and then finally goes down.
It's a race. They've got Jenkins in bottom side. He's going for the Nexus turrets. Inhibitor respawns. That's going to delay him. Very good for FlyQuest.
They sent Zoe, but that means you're playing this on 4v3. 4v3 against Baron is not the easiest, honestly. Your DPS is absurdly low with just a Jhin for it. This is almost unplayable. The stall seems so easy. You have to look at what happens in Zoe versus Graves, with Baron still at 7k. Contractz has Smite, has ult, is not threatened here whatsoever. And now we see a TP come in. They're trying to kill him. You got toucouille burning the stopwatch. Palafox is here, finds the kill, and it's time for FlyQuest to run away as fast as they possibly can. Trying to stop the recalls, trying to go for the base if it's possible here, because they want to knock down FlyQuest base. CLG, a pair of solos. I've seen it before in the LCS finals, and they're doing it here. They don't play into the base, trying to make it happen, but for now, they've got to wait. They just take the one, but Contractz is on Baron.
Yep, they got the recalls off. Escape for FlyQuest members, so CLG say, fine, you can defend your base. We will start up the Baron. Now Luger arrives, so they've got some DPS on it, but the reset from Jose is coming out, and it's still going slow.
And the shields are in, but Contract's health bar is too low. Baron's actually too threatening. They don't have the rest of their threats.
Yeah, I actually love this push and pull towards the end game. It's made so much more fair, kind of, by FlyQuest not having the hyperscaler AD carry and having the Jhin instead.
Sure.
Does have a lot of burst damage, but we haven't seen the game-breaking pick to turn it quite yet. And you continue to have a massive late-game scaling factor of Palafox on this Viktor, approaching level 16 for himself. He'll soon catch up to Jenkins there. And Jenkins has been split pushing both sides of the map constantly on this Graves.
Fun game, a microcosm of team fight versus split push. Obviously, this one is very stark with Graves versus Janna, but like, Fiora versus Ornn is supposed to play out kind of the same way, where you never want to be the 5-on-5 unless you really, really have to, or you've got pressure elsewhere and it turns into something. So, cool to see, how well it's been navigated with very different styles.
And we've stopped seeing much split push in professional play because of the changes of Dragons, and being able to force those team fights. But
yeah.
FlyQuest not having the control here with CLG. Constant movements. Here we go, though.
It's a slow, but it's a 1v2 because Kumo was sent down, and this is going to be a chase. They are faster than Jenkins. Flash slow, flash. Oh, the bump over, but the ulti pushed them away, finds the slow. They're still trying for a bit more, and Jenkins is 2 autos from dead. 4-shot will kill. There's the flash forward. There's the execution. The cross map, how good can it really be? It's a 4v3 for now, but reinforcements are coming for FlyQuest.
Jose can always W the Baron and jump in for a steal.
1700, here's the possible smite fight, and it's gonna be claimed. Contractz is gonna get it. Is it going to be enough though? Is JoseDeodo on the front side, forced out, and Palafox executes Aphromoo. Is it gonna be enough though? They're gonna kill the jungler, yes they will. Luger gets another.
They're not done, Phreak, the ultimate's come to force. Finds Contractz.
Okay, 2 down on both sides now. You gotta run away in the 3v3. Baron buff on the 3 though is nice. Clear away the blue buff, and this map is still live because guess what? Dragon Soul is up in 30 and Contractz won't be.
But damn, we've got a good one here, Phreak. Back and forth again. CLG, they find the smite. Contractz hits the smite onto Baron, but FlyQuest close in again. And now we get to see the effectiveness of the pick. Sleep onto Caitlyn into combo. Jhin is in onto the Baron with the W charge. Jose can't get the smite as Contractz finishes it up, but even after winning the Baron, another sleep lands. toucouille puts Palafox to sleep while the rest of them bind up Jose and take him down, but Jhin roaming over enough to have the range. Palafox was moving up. He had slightly higher health. He would not have died, but he couldn't quite get in front in time. And it gives over the jungler's life. Back out to Dragon Soul fight.
All right, Jhin coming back from the base. Graves pushing in mid. As always, the split push threat. Jenkins, both junglers died at similar times, so they've both gotten now onto the map. FlyQuest would have Soul, CLG just delaying the, I don't want to say inevitable, but, delaying that thought. And looks like it is once again CLG who own the control. This one, mid lane pushed in so far, and knowing Kumo in the Graves, that it's constantly 2 who have to answer, and CLG play the 4v3. They take the objective yet again, as even if it's just Kumo heading over, it's still 3v4. It's still equal members. Within +1, obviously. It's not like they're terribly fed. And so it keeps being CLG getting something off of Jenkins' split.
And it keeps being CLG rewarded for getting to objectives or getting to these pockets of Fog of War first. Remember, they still have Caitlyn, Viktor, 2 of the best champions for getting there early to set up possible gravity well plays and trap plays at these objectives. CLG now are also on Dragon Soul point, and they're still wearing the Baron. They're coming to lay destruction to this base. Jenkins wants to finish what he started at minute 1.
Knocking down turrets. Cole cashed in a long time ago. Infinity Edge in on this 4-item build, and he is a threat. There is only one tank in the opposing roster. And sure, there's a Thornmail on the Zhao, but it's really just the ulti or nothing. He will still melt in front of a Graves if that ult is down. You can see CLG playing the siege. The tail end of the Baron buff. 3,400 gold on the Red Bull Baron power plate. Not bad. As they look to try to find their first win of the LCS season. Honestly, an impressive-looking team during lock-in. I have them as a favorite to make playoffs here in spring. And we'll see if they can make this one happen so far with a win over FlyQuest. But first, into the bottom side is 1,000,000 damage. Palafox did not flash the Leona stun and got executed.
Never count out Aphromoo, Phreak. Never count out Aphromoo. He flashes on him, ult down. Palafox does not flash. And with the Viktor dead, that is the big threat. That is the big zone control. That is a large part of the range as well. All down, that means you have to relent in pressure. So Aphromoo makes the play on Leona. He still has Hex Flash as well. So it's not without possible tools to move forward. And we get another setup, baby.
Yep.
Continually pouncing right back. Game of the year already there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Solo, former mastermind.
True. Several times, right? Like 4 episodes?
Another former mastermind checking in.
That's good.
DeMonte.
Yeah. This is good. This is good. Here we go. Red buff to be claimed, no problem, by good old Luger. Just keeping the gold going. This really hasn't been about Caitlyn almost any way. Like, he's been involved a fair bit, sure, but it's been about the macro moves almost entirely. And Caitlyn's just there. All right, I'm here for Baron DPS. Fair enough. Here for teamfight DPS. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, her main strength is obviously at this stage of the game is trying to utilize the range for CLG and trying to wave clear on the other side to catch the extra minions pushed up by FlyQuest. Meanwhile, Jose not forced to ult here. Very critical. Jhin without ult late game is useless. Such a critical cooldown there, so they are able to try and take down the ward without having to lose the cooldown, and they're still going to have to answer. Jenkins on top side. He's reached level 18, almost full item build here. Incredibly quick pace, obviously because of all the funneling going on from the other side and having the free lanes.
And he makes the read that there were 2 recalls coming in. There's nothing to play for right now anyway, so no one's trapped down in bottom river. So he's like, you know what? I got the wave in, but I'm expecting reinforcements. I'm expecting a blocker, so I'm just going to get out.
Yeah.
And, you know, rightly makes the choice. But that is such a big part of split pushing, is you cannot always have perfect vision. It's just not possible because the opposing team's running around with a bully group of 5. You have to guess, this is too much for me. I'm going to guess they're setting too much for me. I'm out.
And sometimes you have to take calculated risks, but in that case, there's nothing to play for either. Yeah. So taking that risk doesn't even give you a benefit. 1 minute, 12 seconds left on this dragon, and Aphro
just popped. 1v1 so easy for Jenkins, and, well, you had an AD carry somewhere in the vicinity. Not enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting revenge for Palafox.
Yeah.
So I guess sometimes you can count him out, Phreak. Now you can count him out because he's in the death chamber, he's in the fountain. And Jenkins finds the kill. And that, look at all the vision around this dragon that they were investing in and that they were setting up. But with just that pick, all of a sudden, CLG can push every single lane and also get there first.
What do you do with your FlyQuest? Because, okay, we are 4v5 on the map, and we need more than one to stop Graves from threatening our Nexus. So are we sitting in base and giving Baron? If we contest Baron and they stop recalls, we just lose.
And you have to do all of this blind, Phreak, and you do not have any good face checkers. So this Baron getting burned down by CLG. Jose gets over for the W, but this is a very difficult steal.
Jhin at the bot lane. It would be just JoseDeodo to play for it. I think they're trying to make sure someone answers Graves first. Once they see markers on Graves, okay, well, if we on mid lane, we can go for the dragon.
One of the advantages of having Zoe there with the extra range over the top side and the threat of those picks, they're able to force them off of the Baron, and now comes down to the Dragon Soul.
Jenkins is dashing over the wall. Jhin ulti pops up, gets out. They find the stun. JoseDeodo ultis for safety. They dive in the melee range, force the flash out. Is it going to be enough now as Aphromoo holds the front line, but his health bar drops rapidly. Stays alive for now. Health bar's getting quite low. The poke comes in. They got him. Johnsun flies in for the double kill and just starts taking him out behind the barn. 3 picked up. Dragon Soul goes to FlyQuest.
That's Dragon Soul, and that's Baron, Phreak, and quite possibly the game for FlyQuest. Johnsun comes up huge. When you play with the extra support, you have to have the killer instinct. So much invested into the bottom side of the map, and the returns finally pay out. He is legendary. Here it is. He opens up, look at the space he creates with the dodging, but then all focusing in on Aphromoo. Huge Viktor burst damage comes through on the front line. Janna heals him right back up though, and they land those picks. Johnsun from the outside finishes the kill. The late game Jhin burst damage finally comes through.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure toucouille needs a lot of credit for the amount of softening up he did. Yes, the early ult was good for Johnsun, but the fact that 2 people were at 1/3, and he's like, Gale forces one, Force shots the other. Like, yeah, both, you can see 2,700 coming out of the mid laner, 39 out of the AD carry.
And 151 from the Caitlyn, who was auto-attacking the dragon for the majority of it. They were deciding if they wanted to burn down the soul or not. But, you know, and when we're talking about AD carries as well, the AD carries scale in different ways. Jhin is a massive threat in the late game, but in timing windows of burst damage, not like constant auto attacks of, you know, hyper carries in another sense of it. So well done there by Johnsun to take advantage of the burst damage and leverage it into FlyQuest winning position here. Now comes the big siege.
And the big wave is in. They're going to stay grouped up as FlyQuest always want to do. Jhin ult to try to build some space. Luxul barely damages. Doesn't do a whole lot. A little tiny bit of wave clear. Waves mostly go down, but still 2 buffed up cannons plugging away. Turret down to about 1/4, getting lower and lower. Finally cleared away by Lux and Viktor. You mentioned a great wave clear comp out of CLG. It does the job quite well. Luger waits out the bubble and knocks down some wards.
All right, Baron will remain for 3 more minion waves with a little bit to spare. You see top side moved up there by toucouille, so he gets to finish off this turret. Remember, all the way back to Herald number 2, Phreak. That charge got off. This turret never regenerated over 33%, so toucouille gets to slip in, and they finally crack one of these inhibitors. Mid also about to follow shortly, so it makes the job of the Lux, Viktor, Caitlyn so much more difficult on the side of CLG here, and they start to grasp.
And this late on, every wave has a cannon, so it's another buff cannon. It is more eventual damage, guaranteed shots, and the turret falls almost exclusively to Baron buffed cannon minions. Now you've got 2 open inhibitors. Bots respawned long ago as FlyQuest knocked down number 1. They can look for number 2. It's very hard to defend this one against a Baron buff, against a 5v5 comp, and against no tower, or with no tower, I should say. So FlyQuest indeed walk up, channel it from NATO. And zone control continues as the end of the Red Bull Baron power play. 2,600 gold so far. Double inhibitor hoping to be the prize. So far looking pretty good. Aphro staying far back. Looking again at some poke. Looking at a couple of shots against the shields. And there we go. Double inhibitor down.
There's no hard force from CLG. Once again, keep on having to reiterate this, that they depend on something like a binding landing. Yeah, Contractz can put up a pillar there to try and help you with hitting your binding, but they don't have the means to pounce on a mispositioning from FlyQuest in the same vein that something like Aphromoo does. Yep. That play where Aphromoo catches out, split pushing Viktor, kills Palafox and opens up a play, that is so much more difficult for Poome to pull off. You can see him trying though. He's finding angles here on the side, trying to pull out one of these bindings, but really, they play so much off of wave clear, trying to stall out FlyQuest. 2 inhibitors are already down, so the pressure will just continue to mount.
Yeah, I want to see Jenkins somewhere else, though. We have seen 2 minutes straight of CLG inside their base, losing double inhibitor anyway, and waiting out Baron. And I realize FlyQuest the entire time had mid and top both pressured. Your only option was maybe bot lane, that would be tough. But at this point in time, are you not just getting the wave every single time with Lux, Viktor, Caitlyn? And finally, he is in top side, he's finally pushing the wave out, but that's the only win condition, is getting the side lane pressure, and until that happens, nothing goes in for CLG. Good poke there, down pretty low. And now to look for the attempt to stun the backline, just, wow, deleted. toucouille makes it happen. And once again, Caitlyn traps go down, but a new wave's coming soon.
Nice ult again from Johnsun. Multiple hits there onto the front line, allowing toucouille to go in for the snipe. This extra range forces the play even without the hard commitment. So they force Jenkins back. Now CLG bottled up forever here, and FlyQuest aren't going to let them out easy.
Redemption, that is a ton of healing back in, thanks to the Janna. Heal and shield power stacking up, the flash stun. Yep, it's a 5v4, goodbye. Late game Zoe damage. 2 shot in 2 spells, and it's time to end the game. No top lane wave, but mid is here. Superman is on board as well. Johnsun, Deadly Flourish, doesn't quite find that kill, but we're gonna find the rest of it now. Here we go. On to the final turrets, and still 4 seconds till Contractz is up. Tornado comes around, first turret down, and oh, that is a deletion. Jenkins gets enough done. With the jungler respawning, it's a 4v4. It's a possibility. It might be enough. They're still diving in, though, and they've got the shots. Johnsun taking him down yet again. Stun and a Luger cleanse it away. Trying again for the fight. 3v4. CLG could maybe have a hope here, but they've got 20 seconds. The mid laner comes back up.
Yeah, so much burst damage and so many things to dodge on the side of CLG. Luger, Poome, Contractz against 4.
They try JoseDeodo. He's got no ulti, but he's got some healing as the frontline Trundle tries to wear him down. Turret getting lower and lower, but Johnsun on a reload and dies. The snipe comes in. The shutdown's in. JoseDeodo falls as well. CLG double kill, but they don't have any ways pushed up to go for the base.
We go again, Phreak. They defend the Nexus. CLG holding on by threads here. They have had legendary comebacks. This organization, MSI, nothing left inside their base, and they were able to do it. Aphromoo, though, he was on that team.
Yeah. I was thinking, is there an aggro for a TP play? But of course, now you know, jungler dead, AD carry dead, 4 versus 3 on the map, and the respawn has a teleport. This is an Elder Dragon. Jenkins will get to wear it. Viktor has to ult to wave clear. They're gonna send the soul inners just to take the base away. Keep in mind, triple inhibitor down. It is so hard to leave your base. Baron spawns just now. Do they even have the chance to play for it? It's a question. Someone has to stay inside the base at all times. Thankfully for CLG, there are no teleports up for FlyQuest.
Yep, no teleports in FlyQuest command at the moment. Plenty of wave control, though, because whenever you have all 3 inhibitors down, multiplicative effect, double stack super minions, siege, and constantly allow extra pressure. Contractz and the rest of CLG, though, making a move for the vision around Baron. They've got Elder Dragon buff, so even with Viktor and Graves trying to defend minions, they both have unleashed teleports ready to join. The problem for them is if FlyQuest can bait those teleports out, your base will be ended by the minions. So CLG have to be so precise with when they choose to commit to this. And the Baron is just going to be seeded, it looks like.
8k health. I mean, are they allowed? They're going to TP 1 in. They're going to walk the Viktor. 5v5 with an Elder Dragon. You do not win that fight. So CLG, can they force the Baron? I feel like they should be able to.
They have to do something quickly. They have no time because the super minions are already headed right back for the base. That's 1 teleport down.
Fiddle's being pushed already. Keep in mind, mid inhib came back up, so Jenkins shoves it in. Like, he can credibly threaten their base from mid lane. I believe the Nexus turret, one of them's already down, so it's not hard to knock that base out. Palafox is back in time. You got Luger there as well. Obviously, these guys are basically almost all full build at this point in time. And now we look again at the rest of the dance. Still 1 minute left on the Baron buff, and all that's left to play for is bot lane, which Palafox can hold with teleport up, and CLG can play the map at almost full power.
And the Elder Dragon, 50 seconds left on this buff. CLG want to try and force, but they don't have the tools to be able to do so. So instead, you have to manage this advantage in the form of pushing out your minion waves to buy you time to answer this Baron. They've still got 1 unleashed teleport left in the hands of Palafox. He sent them to the bottom side to finish up on the last remaining stream of super minions, while the rest of the team retains control of vision and allows him the threat of joining. Now they're the ones burning it down. Will the binding land?
15 seconds of Elder. Like, FlyQuest really want to wait for 10 more seconds before the fight happens. And Elder's going to time out before there is an actual fight to be had. So CLG missed the chance of forcing a team fight with that buff.
But I like that call. That's the only way they really have to force. They say, hey, we're going to hit Baron. Give Poome a chance to land a binding. That's your only hope of really trying to leverage that end of the Elder Dragon buff. They take their shot. Good job by FlyQuest, though, on their response. They don't take the bait.
Right, Jenkins on the flank. Decent damage. Show has to be threatened. Ult to safety, was afraid of Aphromoo. Maybe rightly so, but that is now a couple of cooldowns missing from Jenkins, and FlyQuest get to once again walk towards Baron. Bot lane, still a problem.
Yep, Palafox did not use his teleport, and he's with the rest of the team already. They can walk up 7,000, 6,000.
This timer's short. This timer's short because the bottom is still being pushed in. No one's answering just yet. Baron claimed. How about FlyQuest? What can happen now? Because they're going to find that first kill in a second. They will try to knock down Contractz. Aphromoo getting a bit low, does not die. Jhin finds a kill on a Trundle. 1 for over FlyQuest. The bot wave still pushing in. Summoners coming across now. Look at the second kill. Graves trades 1 back as Aphro is down. JoseDeodo finds a second one. But guess what? In the bottom side, JoseDeodo had to get down there. He's on to the Nexus. They might win the fight. toucouille going to make it happen. And that's going to be the game. FlyQuest bring out the Janna top, and FlyQuest take down CLG.
What a banger!
Yes!
First game of Smite Janna top in the LCS, and it is FlyQuest's first victory.
I personally love games like this. 2 years ago, casting remote, we had, I think it was Golden Guardians versus FlyQuest or Immortals, where it was another really difficult macro game to play, where it's all about where do people go, when are you allowed to leave their base. We had one here where, look, the Graves got a lot done, right? Just from dead inhibitors, we got an extra Dragon, got an extra Baron, and the back and forth was so fun to watch.
What's fun is the push and pull of strategies and the process of figuring them out. It becomes unfun later when it is solved.
Yeah.
But this type of game is what opens people's eyes. And this is why I feel like people should have open minds when approaching things like this, even in solo queue, and giving the benefit of the doubt to people.
Yeah. And well done. Well done, make it happen. I got to give credit to the bot triangle because just in the 3-on-3, JoseDeodo, Johnsun, Aphromoo, they just straight up killed Contractz. And they now we'll bring Janna. Now it's even easier 4v3. So the fact that the ball got started, it was already rolling before anyone walked out of top. It's like, well, it started a bit early here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, really good plays on both sides at different points in this game. CLG doing some good recovery work, hard committing. Jenkins did get caught at one point, but made the hard push, getting the inhibitor back. So definitely an enjoyable one. Will be analyzed further because it has so few points of data thus far across pro play yet.
Yeah.
And we still have more to explore. I do like this iteration, though, of investing heavily into range and pick. It's definitely more shaky as far as the execution towards the mid stages. And there are some more easily executable iterations of it, as we mentioned before, with another enchanter / AD carry, where you can just force the 5-on-5s front to back. And not have to rely on some of the picks and mechanics here, but definitely a fun one to watch. I like that they're keeping that open mind to approach some of these strategies.
Yeah. I think you do need engage of some way. Like if it is a Lulu down there, like that jungler better be a Hecarim, to your point, right? Like if it's Kha'Zix, I think your comp is trash, right? Kha'Zix Lulu, that is a horrible comp because no one's starting that fight for you.
It's funny too because and Lorlo actually just recently the other day I was watching him, he had a Kha'Zix on his team, and he was like, this is one of the worst junglers because Kha'Zix is also scaling and assassin pick does not, has no obvious synergies there. So it's definitely a fun one to look at. I will also say for Aphromoo himself, critical plays in several of these moments. You mentioned you're going to need that engage from somewhere. His pick onto Palafox in the split push, actually got them through one of the points where CLG had the upper hand and were staging themselves. So.
Very fun back and forth game. FlyQuest put themselves on the board here in spring, which means we get to join their top